Welcome to Design to the Nines. I'm Natalie Callahan, and if this is the first time we're meeting, welcome to my channel. So what do we do if we have a little extra time on our hands? Well, if you're like me, then I open up my laptop or turn to my phone and I go to Pinterest and look at all the beautiful things. And then after that, I hop on over to YouTube to learn how to make them, right? That's why I hope you're here today. So in today's episode, I've got 3 Pinterest-inspired DIYs for you. So let's get started. For my first Pinterest-inspired spring DIY, I've been seeing all of these cute bunny scapes on Pinterest. I've seen them with a wreath of greenery around them. I've also seen a garden scape kind of a look. And what's really great about this is I had everything on hand already. I didn't have to buy anything. It was either leftover from my Easter table scape video. If you haven't seen that yet, I will put the link below as well as at the end of the video. So don't leave because you're definitely going to want to check out this episode as well. So sometimes it's really good to keep a hold of those and not check them because you never know what you're going to use them for. I had this stone, like cement Easter bunny that I picked up at Ross last year for $5.99. These are pretty easy to find. You can find any kind of bunny you want. Then I have this pot left over from my heart topiary tree. I made 2 and I only ended up making 1 heart topiary. And all I did is I picked up this pot. It's plastic, it's black. And I picked it up from Walmart for like $2.96, so very affordable. And then what I did is I took a terracotta pot, you can see, like a saucer, and it was about $1. And I took some black chalk paint and painted that and then glued it on just to give it more of a high-end finished look. And so that was really easy to put together. And then these work on my table scape as well. So the one thing I kind of toyed around with doing it like this and put some greenery, but this is a little tiny bit too small, so I don't think I'm going to do that direction. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to create kind of like a nest effect by setting around the rim of this, and then we'll kind of build like a garden scape. So then I have a whole assortment of leftover greenery that I had on hand. I have a whole assortment of Dollar Tree white flowers that I used on my Easter table scape last year. And then occasionally you just need like the top parts of flowers, right? So I have these leftover greeneries from my pink peony wreath from a couple weeks ago. So that's kind of leftover. I think that using all of these greeneries together kind of creates a gardeny effect. And normally you would maybe toss some of these greenery away. I've got a paper bag and I'm just going to kind of tear this apart and crumple it into a ball. We're going to take that off first. We're going to shove this into the bottom of here. It's just so we don't have to fill the entire thing with styrofoam because that is wasteful. I have some leftover green styrofoam from another project, but I'm going to take my hot knife because I have it on hand. We're going to cut it down and we're going to put it inside here so that this is pretty stiff. So this will give us a solid base for our bunny to sit on top of. And my husband is walking by all weirdly. It's so funny. Oh, I think he was trying not to interrupt me. I don't know if that's gonna make the cut or not. Do you want me to? Creepy. Just kidding, he's not. This hot knife is actually a very handy little tool. It cuts through foam so easily, and it's not very expensive either. If you're interested, I'll put a link in the description box below. I use it to cut the green styrofoam down until it fits snugly into the pot. It needs to be quite tight to support the weight of the bunny. I fill any gaps with any extra and make sure that those are snug as well. Then I take my Dollar Tree wreath and place it on the rim. I don't do anything to secure it because I figure all the greenery will kind of hold it in place, but you definitely could if you wanted to. Then we start adding in our greenery. Try to place it in as you might see it in nature. You want to mix the different type of greenery together kind of in a ring shape. I then place the bunny to see how it looks. Peekaboo. Okay, so I felt like the bunny was too far down, so we put another square of styrofoam that I picked up from the Dollar Tree and had on hand already to lift it up a little bit more. So we're just gonna place that here. Now when I move this around to like where it's gonna have its final spot, I'm gonna take the bunny off because I'm not gonna permanently attach the bunny here because I may wanna reuse him for something else down the road. Plus there's a lot of weight on here. So now that he's sitting in here, I'm gonna fill in with a little bit more greenery. So basically I rated all of my supplies and I'm like, what can I use so I can not have to spend any money on this project? The different variation in greenery is really what's going to give it this awesome garden effect. Now we've got kind of a good little foundation going, and I thought you can never go wrong with fairy lights, so we're going to add some fairy lights in before we add a whole bunch of other stuff, because I think that way it will kind of disguise it a little bit better. Sometimes if you turn on the lights, it helps you place them a little bit. This is a good opportunity to make our focal point, and we're gonna put this, I think, right in here. Then I fill in with a few more of my leftover Dollar Tree flowers. Now I'm gonna add some Easter eggs, and I've also got some carrots, and we're gonna just kind of tuck them in and see how they look. So we're just gonna do a few finishing touches here. My second Pinterest-inspired DIY are these modern tulip arrangements that are arranged in these cylinder vases. Even though they're kind of being described as a modern arrangement, what I like about this is they really could go in many different styles of decor, and tulips always are very springy to me. So my microphone wasn't turned on during this section, so we'll be doing a little bit more voiceover. You definitely could do this arrangement with fresh tulips, but I decided to do this with some silk tulips that I ordered off of Amazon that have an amazing and very realistic look to them. They are actually even prettier in person than on camera. I ordered 30 of these in bulk off of Amazon, making them less than 50 cents per stem, which I thought was an amazing deal. And they have a multitude of colors, so I will put the link for these in the description box below. I start out by taking a glass vase that I already had on hand. Now, if you want to use the Dollar Tree cylinder vase, you definitely could do this, but this one's a little bit larger, and I thought it would work really nicely for this project. I picked up some black smooth stones at the Dollar Tree, and I placed a few of them on the bottom of the vase. Then I go about arranging my tulips, staggering the heights of the tulips with my tallest being in the center. Now you can arrange this however you like, but this is just the approach that I took. Once I get them basically arranged how I like them, then I'm going to mix my fake water kit. I mixed the whole kit and ended up not needing all of it, and so I wasted a lot of it because once you've mixed it, it's going to dry hard, so you can't really reuse it. So if you're going to be using a Dollar Tree vase, for example, you definitely need much less. So you can just make sure when you mix those that you do equal parts and save the rest for another project. So for a Dollar Tree one, I think you'd probably need about a half of this size package. You will mix the water kit for about 3 to 5 minutes, making sure to follow the directions on the package. Now when you pour this into the vase, you want to avoid the sides, so aim for the center. Once you have your fake water in, you can carefully replace your tulips back into their spot, and you can move them around a little bit, but you want to try and avoid moving them too much. Otherwise, you might get some of the epoxy on the side of the vase, and that's not a good idea. Then you can just set your arrangement wherever you like it and let it harden. I want to briefly tell you about Antique Candle Company's new fragrances that they sent me, which are Country Pear and Mango Citrus. Both of them smell absolutely amazing, and Mango Citrus might be one of my favorites of all time, and it's a brand new scent. Now they sent me 2 of the Mango Citrus, so I would like to pass one on to one of you. So if you're interested in winning this candle, pop on over to my community page. Make sure you're subscribed and all the details will be there. If you missed us this time, don't worry. It's something that I'll probably be doing again in the future. Also, if you're interested in purchasing these absolutely amazing smelling candles, I'll put a link in the description box below. So for my last Pinterest-inspired spring DIY, we are going to be making some Easter bunny tags that you've been seeing all over. I'm sure you've seen these type of tags all over Pinterest, and I liked them. I thought they were cute. And so this is a very inexpensive project. Now, I got most of my supplies at the Dollar Tree, and you know me, I'm not a big Dollar Tree DIYer unless I really think that I can get a good look out of it. Now, you can find these chalkboards at almost all Dollar Trees. They're pretty readily available. Obviously, that's going to vary from store to store, but I've seen these in multiple stores and they generally have them on hand. I thought that they were a good size. They were lightweight. I figured that we could cut through these without too much trouble. Now, if you're not big into celebrating Easter, you don't celebrate it, that's okay, because you can actually switch this out really easy by writing spring and doing like a daisy flower on it. So it's really flexible. You can get a spring look with this, and that's the purpose of this episode, is to show you how you can get your inspiration from Pinterest and make it kind of your own. And what's also awesome is you could make them reversible if you wanted to. So I marked where I wanted to make my cuts, including where I wanted my hole to go as well. Then I simply used my miter saw to make the cuts. Now, if you don't have a miter saw, you could use a handsaw. This is just quicker for me, and so I like to use it. You know my motto, girls can use power tools too. Then I took my 1/2-inch drill bit and drilled a hole. I made sure to put a piece of wood underneath it to protect my bit and the table that I used. I designed a printable, which I will put the link for in the description box below, that says Easter in 2 different fonts, and also a little bunny. I used some transfer paper to get the image transferred onto our boards, but I would almost suggest you use the chalk method because of the blackboard. It did work out, but you want to make sure you have a pretty bright room if you're going to do it this way. Then I simply take some white craft paint and I use some inexpensive brushes from the Dollar Tree. Now, I don't know if I'd recommend these, but they did get the job done. After they were dried, I distressed them as much as I could. Now, they didn't distress as well as I would have liked, but it is what it is. After they were distressed, I used some rope that I picked up at the Dollar Tree and kind of did a slip knot on it and then tied a knot at the top so that they would hang like tags. Now, if I were to redo this project in the future, I probably would just use unfinished lumber, especially since I ended up needing to use my miter saw anyway, because I think I would have gotten more of the look that I'm going for. So stay tuned for that. Plus, I think it might be a little cheaper this way, especially if I use my scrap wood that I have on hand. That being said, I did think these turned out rather cute. Well, I hope you got a little bit of inspiration from this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. So until next time, to all of my DIY Niners, thank you so much for watching. Bye.